At the residence of the Chinese collaborationist government, the wives of influential politicians are playing mahjong and discussing their spouses. Their small talk is interrupted by an anti-Protestant official, Mr. E. Seeing the man, Mrs. Mack informs him that she is late for an important meeting. On her way to a cafe, she sees people suffering, begging, and unable to adapt to life under occupation. Many have no money for petrol or food and are forced to wander the streets and say goodbye to life there. Once there, the girl calls her so-called brother and sends him a secret message urging him to take action. A few years earlier, Chinese soldiers are sent to the front to defend their homeland from the Japanese. Wang Jiaji and the other girls see the military off, hoping for a quick victory and a return home. The young student dreams of going to London to visit her father, but so far he has not invited his daughter to join him. At university, Wang makes the acquaintance of Kuang Yuming. The film is part of a period in which the Chinese government decides to discriminate against teenagers by raising funds to buy medicine. It is not long before Wang discovers that her father has remarried and the young wife is unprepared for the arrival of her eldest daughter. The girl is forced to make a living on her own because she has no one to rely on. During a theatrical performance, she is terrified of the stage with hundreds of people staring at her. Overcoming her fear, the girl makes a moving speech, making the audience weep and empathize with the main characters. Rejoicing at her small success, the students drink and laugh. On the last tram home, the girl hopes Kuang will dare to kiss her, but he never makes a decisive move. The next morning, the students gather at the theater. Kuang's older brother has been shot dead on the battlefield and he dreams of taking revenge on the Japanese for their brutality. After meeting an old acquaintance who works for the collaborators, the student learns that a powerful official will soon arrive in Hong Kong from Shanghai to exterminate people who do not support the Japanese government. The young actors decide to use their creativity and get close to Mr. E to send him to the other side. Meeting his brother's classmate again, Kuang asks him to introduce Mr. E to the Mack family. The wealthy gentlemen are to be played by Wang and one of the students. The others will support their image by playing a driver, a security guard, and a cousin. The next morning they meet Mr. Yi's wife, having fun in the shops and shopping malls. Posing as the wife of a successful businessman, the girl gets close to a family of traders working for the Japanese government. She must lure Mr. E into a trap so that the rest of the underground group can take him out. Meeting on the beach, the students practice shooting bottles and quarrel, as a month has passed and no results have been achieved. The cover-up is expensive and Juan is not prepared to spend all his father's savings. Soon Mrs. Mack is caught in the rain and Mr. E turns his attention to the girl, inviting her into his house. That evening he plays mahjong with the women as one of the friends is delayed. After telling her about a tailor she knows, Mrs. Mack offers to tailor a bespoke suit for the official and leaves him her phone number. Waiting for the call, she goes to meet the man and helps him pick out a stylish outfit. She tries on the dress but finds it too revealing and wants to take it off as soon as possible. Mr. Y asks her not to do that as the bright dress suits her. After visiting the tailor, they go to a restaurant and spend the day together. Over dinner, the politician explains that he sees only fear in the eyes of the occupiers and that Mrs. Mack has won him over with her confidence and her bold and defiant gaze. In the evening, Mr. E gives the girl a lift home. Noticing the car approaching, the students turn off the lights, arm themselves and prepare to punish the traitor. Mack lures the man in, but he is very distrustful and cautious. The girl has been perfectly trained in the art of intrigue and seduction, but the gentleman's fear is stronger than his desire to stop by for a cup of tea. Realizing that the mate is inevitable, the students decide to prepare a spy. Only Huang has experience with girls, so he is entrusted to become the girl's sexual partner for the next few days. Quickly trained, she is ready for intimacy with Mr. E, but everything is spoiled by a call from his wife who informs him of her immediate departure. Having failed the operation, the students pack their bags and want to move out of the flat. They are discovered by Chow, who has decided to blackmail the Protestants. Enraged, the boys attack him and stab him, after which Kuang twists the traitor's neck. Seeing the horror going on, the girl escapes. Shanghai, 3 years later. Wang returns to her aunt's house, where she struggles to stay on the edge of poverty. Her father, who has emigrated to England, has never been able to take the girl in. Having lost her will to live and her interest in learning, she struggles to find the strength to continue her studies. After spending her last savings, Wang goes to the cinema, but the movie is interrupted by a propaganda video glorifying Japan as the liberator of Asian countries from the oppressive influence of the West. Outside, she meets a former theater mate again. Lunching at a cafe, Kuang reveals that their spy venture has been watched by Protestants. Immediately after their failure, they get in touch and offer their cooperation. Now he is no longer just a student dreaming of revenge, but a full-fledged member of an underground organization fighting against the occupying authorities. Mr. E has become the head of the secret police, an exposing Protestant, and it's even harder to get close to him. Only Mrs. Mac is able to get close to the man as they know each other quite well. After getting to know Old W, the girl agrees to all the terms and takes a poison pill to unmask her in case she is unmasked. In preparation for the infiltration, Wang learns a fictional biography and learns how to assemble and disassemble weapons. Finally, she asks the head of the Protestant movement to deliver a letter to her father, but Old Man Wu burns it in order to erase any knowledge of the girl, named Wang Jiaji. If the operation is successful, she is promised a trip to England. Once again becoming Mrs. Mac, the girl goes to Mr. Yi's house. To be close to their family, she rents a room in a nearby hotel. When the politician learns of her dire financial situation, he offers to let her stay with them, as there is plenty of room in the mansion. Meeting Kuang on the tram, she passes on valuable information, receives money and instructions to maintain her cover. Out for a stroll, she meets the politician's driver, who suggests a ride to meet Mr. E. Once at the hotel, she meets the man and takes an interest in him. The horny Mr. White pounces on the weak Mac and engages in a muffin with her, using the girl roughly. Trying to test the man's feelings, she informs him of her imminent departure, but Mr. Yi goes away on a business trip instead. When he returns a few days later, he discovers that the girl hates him and genuinely believes her. Left alone, the couple once again engage in lovemaking and enjoy each other to the fullest. A few days later, Mrs. Mac meets Kuang and learns that several Protestants have been detained. Their safe houses have been declassified and further meetings to exchange information are dangerous. That same night, the girl notices a politician burning documents in his office. Trusting his lover, he confesses that he does not go on business trips, but spends his days and nights interrogating the militia, who do not obey the Japanese authorities. The next evening he decides to fill her in on the details of the interrogation and in the process pester her. Arriving at the hotel, the lovers engage in lovemaking. At one point the girl wants to seize the moment and cover the man's face with a pillow to put a bullet in his forehead, but she never dares to do so. Mrs. Mac manages to soften a violent and overbearing politician in bed, but the price is too high. At a meeting with Old Man Wu, she admits she has given her soul for this, and Mr. Y is like a serpent crawling deeper and deeper into her heart. The Protestant head believes that the time has not come, for Mac is the only one who has managed to get close to the traitor, and she will be able to gather more data useful in the fight against the invaders. That night she meets her lover at a Japanese restaurant, singing him a song and bringing the man to tears. As parting, he leaves the girl an envelope, which she is to give to Mr. Said. The Protestants open the letter but find only a business card and assume it is a test. Putting the girl under surveillance, they allow her to travel to her destination. It turns out that Said is a jeweler who is to make a ring, paid for in advance by Mr. Y. The girl chooses the biggest diamond and, a short time later, calls Kuang to deliver a coded message calling for action. Leaving the cafe, she meets the politician and suggests going to the jeweler to collect the jewelry. Upon seeing the ring, Wang realizes that she has finally inhabited the role of Mrs. Mac. At a decisive moment, she doesn't resist her feelings and warns her lover that he is trapped and needs to escape. Mr. Y escapes, mission accomplished. Soon the Protestants and the girl are caught before she can crack the poison pill. The politician genuinely loves Mrs. Mac, but work is more important, so he doesn't want to see her and orders that the Protestants be taken to the quarry and executed at 10 o'clock at night. Back at home he sits on the girl's bed and waits with pain in his heart for the hour when the sentence will be carried out.
That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this. And hit the like button to help us out.